Charles Robert Darwin, the fifth child of Robert and Susanna Darwin, born on February 12, 1809, right here in Shrewsbury, Shropshire. You have now been baptized on the 17th of November, right here at St. Chad's Church.
Give thanks to the Lord. Amen. Amen.
8 short years after Darwin was born, his mother died.
After my mother's death, I transferred from the Reverend George Case School to the Shrewsbury School.
I hated school as a young boy because I wanted to be outside with the birds and the plants. That didn't matter to my father. He wanted me to become a doctor, just like himself. So I went and attended the University of Edinburgh to do just that, become a doctor. There was one problem with me becoming a doctor. Looking at blood made me sick. Therefore, I transferred to Christ College in Cambridge to become a priest.
1831, Charles joined a 5-year scientific journey on my ship, the HMS Beagle. His job on the ship was to collect samples of specimens at the places we stopped. We traveled to different places, including the Galapagos Islands. At these islands, he studied finches. He found that the different islands had different food sources. Therefore, the finches had somehow changed their beaks for the different food sources, making it easier for them to eat them.
On the HMS Beagle, I read Lyell's book called The Principles of Geology. In that book, Lyell argued that fossils are evidence that animals lived a long time ago. When I saw the finches on the Galapagos Islands, I began to form ideas about evolution by means of natural selection. On my return home, I began to conclude with the ideas of a man named Malthus that animals or plants best adapted to their environment are more likely to survive and reproduce, passing on the characteristics that help them survive to their offspring. The species gradually changes over time, like the finches.
And even with all Charles's scientific work, he still had time to love. He married me, Emma, on the 29th of January, 1839. We were first cousins.
In 1858, Darwin discovered that Alfred Russel Wallace, a naturalist, had come up with the same idea about evolution and natural selection. They publicly announced their theory together. In 1859, Darwin published his very own book with a big long title, On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection. This book was very controversial when it came out. His book stated that Homo sapiens were just another animal that may have evolved from a different species, like apes. It also stated that the earth had naturally evolved over time. Almost everyone in England at the time believed that the earth was created in 7 days as described in the Holy Bible. The church attacked Charles and his book, saying it was not reasonable. Eventually people warmed up to his book, and it became the new idea about how evolution took place. I died on the 19th of April, 1882, and was buried in Westminster Abbey.